Good afternoon, Toronto. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce Jeremy Hector to the Radioregent broadcast facilities in downtown Toronto on the KoolBreeze Experience Show. My name is Curtis Anthony. Welcome. Thanks for the opportunity to talk to you about your evolution, your vision, your mission, about your music. KoolBreeze is here to chronicle the vibe and magnify your brilliance. I'm honored to have you on my show.
Oh, it's good to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Jeremy, first of all, tell the people where you're from.
I'm from Grenada.
Okay, what part?
St. David.
St. David. So I've been to Grenada 11 years in a row. So
yeah,
I've been in the place.
Nice.
It's beautiful country, man. The vegetation is very, very different from the rest of the Caribbean. Yeah. So before we get into the insights and analysis of the music, of what the music is all about, how are you doing? How is life?
I mean, I would say I'm in a very interesting place right now.
Right.
I've had the opportunity to work with some amazing musicians.
Right.
And it's just been a blessing the last year or so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm doing good.
Right. That's wonderful. Give us a sense of your childhood, where you grew up, and how this music thing got started for you.
Wow. I started music really young. I started at classical piano at around age 6.
Wow.
But it was never really something I enjoyed. You know, your parents want you to play music and this and that. So it's somewhere in my teens I really got into the guitar. I think I was about 14 years old.
Okay.
And Hurricane Ivan had just hit Grenada.
Okay.
And so I had no power to turn the keyboard on in the house.
Ooh.
And there was this guitar laying around that my dad bought for me some years before, and in that moment of not being able to play the keyboard, I picked this guitar up and I just never put it back down. You know, that's how I really got into playing the guitar.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And what I'm even more curious. How did you get into the smooth jazz sound?
Well, my dad, every time he traveled, he would bring back these albums, you know, and it was always the smooth jazz type of music he was into.
Okay.
So the album that really brought me or introduced me to smooth jazz was an album by Chuck Loeb.
Oh.
Called In a Heartbeat.
Yes.
That's still my favorite album, and it's the one that really, I guess, propelled me into wanting to play smooth jazz. Yeah.
All right. Now, for a young cat in Grenada with the smooth jazz scene, how does your generation take to this music and what you're doing?
It's not popular.
Okay.
It's not. It's most people play soca, reggae, that sort of thing.
Right.
But the music I play is not as popular. There isn't like a big following for it.
Right.
So that's just where it is. It's a bit of a lonely road.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I know you're from Grenada, and King Eddie Bullen is from Grenada as well. It's totally obvious how you guys hook up. Why don't you tell us a bit about that, the connection?
Well, I mean, of course, I knew of him,
right?
Because he's a Grenadian artist who does jazz, and I'm into it.
Right.
He didn't know of me until probably about 2 years ago.
Okay.
On one of his trips down,
right.
I was playing at a venue.
All right.
And he came in. What he said was someone told him he needs to hear this guy play.
All right.
So he came, sat in the back and listened, and afterward he gave me a CD, his latest CD, and we didn't really talk much on that occasion. The following year he came down to do a show, and I went to see him, and he asked me if I had any original music and, you know, if I'm writing.
Okay.
And that was the motivation. I of course I had some stuff that I was working on. I couldn't call them complete songs, but on that occasion he really pushed me, like, you know, you need to write, and I just started taking it a bit more seriously, and fast forward a year later, I came to Canada with 10 original songs.
Wow, that's unbelievable, man.
And we did an album, and the rest is just
history.
Yeah.
Now, who were some of your favorite guitar players when you picked up that guitar? Who inspired you to really dig out there?
Chuck Chuck Loeb is my favorite
Alright.
guitar player.
Okay.
Because he has a way of writing music that, even though it's instrumental, you could hear it's a song. It has
Yes.
verse, chorus, bridge,
Mhm.
so you don't feel like I'm just listening to background music,
Okay.
which is common in a lot of smooth jazz. It's like just
Yes.
a simple progression, and
Yes.
like they improvise over the whole thing.
Right.
But Chuck, he had it down to like melodies and verses, chorus, bridge, and it was a story he was telling, you know.
Okay.
So I would say he is my biggest influence.
It's big. Okay.
Of course, I listen to a bit of George Benson
Yes.
and Larry Carlton and
Mm.
Lee Ritenour.
Rock Loop.
Not
Not
so
so
much.
much. Alright.
I mean, I know a few of his songs, but not so
Right.
much.
Right.
But I would say like my listening
Mhm.
has been very specific, I guess, to just a few players, and I
Okay.
haven't really
Alright.
dabbled around in a lot of.
Alright. Eventually, you will
Yeah.
spread your wings and
Yeah.
see what's out there, because
Yeah.
there's some amazing guitar players in jazz and blues and
Yeah, of
smooth
course.
jazz, and
of
it
course.
just like it'll take you into the cosmos. Yes. So tell us a bit about this CD. What goes into the composition when you put this thing?
So, my music education background is not very deep.
Alright.
I never had the opportunity to have like formal theory
Alright.
training or any of that kind of stuff. So, a lot of it is how I hear and feel things.
Improvisation. And,
Yeah, and a lot of it comes from like the influences, other music I listen to, Earth, Wind and Fire and Stevie Wonder and soul and blues, and it just kind of comes together.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I never sat down to say, okay, I'm going to write a song now.
Okay.
I would be practicing or away from the guitar, and a melody would just come to mind,
Mhm.
and I save it as a voice note
Right.
and take that back home and work on it. So my writing, I think, is very inspirational. It just comes
Right.
to me in moments. And,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Now, where do you see yourself going with this smooth jazz, especially in that part of the Caribbean, man?
I don't plan to stay there for much longer.
Right.
And the reason is there aren't many people who I could play with and like learn from.
Mm.
And here in the city or other places, it's like on every street corner you go, it's some young kids playing serious jazz and blues, and like just for the sake of being more exposed and developing, I think I'm at the point where I need to make a bit of a shift.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, how would you describe the Grenadian music scene?
It's very small. The circle of musicians is very small. As you could tell, I'm from an island of 100,000 people.
Right.
So you could just, based on probability, just calculate how many of that 100,000 would be good musicians.
Right.
It's really small. There are a few live bands, but most of it is Caribbean music, reggae, soca, those types of calypso.
Right.
And a lot of it is geared towards like the hotel industry, you know, and not necessarily, there aren't that many regular shows and things like that. Yeah.
Right. With that smooth jazz scene
Yeah.
out there, yeah. That, but you have Grenada, to me, is a brilliant place for musicians in terms of the scenery, the beaches, where a guy could go into a zone and just go real some depth and compose and write, because there's not much distractions.
True, it's a very laid back environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you really could come up with some cosmic stuff down there. But you guys got some good fish and food and stuff down there,
Of
man.
course, of
Oh
course.
man, it's so. Who's some of the people you work with in the music?
Well, some of the people I look up to and worked with Boo Hinkson from St. Lucia,
Yo, great guitar.
Arturo
Yes.
Tappan from Barbados,
Yes.
of course Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really worked with that many musicians.
All right.
It's because I'm kind of transitioning from. I played with a band for a couple of years, and I transitioned from that into working on my own music, and so I'm just, you could say I'm at the beginning of something right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A new stage.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I mean, it's just an open road ahead.
Mhm.
Looking forward to
Mhm.
working with as many people as I can and just learn from them and things like that. Yeah.
Okay. Have you been on the Eddie Bullen boat ride?
Oh yeah.
Which one was that?
Last year I played on the one last
Yes.
year.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. His. I don't miss those, man. But because I so many musicians he has on.
Yeah.
You know, from year to year, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that his boat ride. That's my thing for the year. I look forward for that.
Yeah, I just missed the one this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Arturo Tappan was on there.
Yes, he
It
was.
good,
He was.
yeah. And wow, this is incredible, man. This is incredible. A smooth jazz guitar player from the tiny island of Grenada, Jeremy Hector.
Yeah. I mean,
That's great.
it's my style is I'm still learning what it is. Of
Mhm.
course, I lean more to that type of sound.
Yes.
Norman Brown, of course. How could I forget?
Oh,
He's
man.
one.
Incredible. I love his stuff.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But it's still a bit.
Mm.
It's still a bit open.
Yes.
You know, I'm still working on exactly what my sound is. As any musician would say, you know, you go through these
Yeah.
periods where
Right.
it's you lean more heavily on one style, and
Yes.
it varies. You know, so that's where I am right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Wow, this is Jeremy Hector. Eddie sent me a email. I says Jeremy Hector in town. I said, listen, give me that man's number because I gotta have him in the studio. You can't have a guy come of musical quality come up and not pass through Radioregent, man. We are number one for independent artists, man. So tell us where you're performing next.
Well, back home because I actually leave on Monday.
Oh, all right.
Next week.
Mhm.
Since I've been here, I've did a few performances at different. I did the Kensington Jazz.
Right.
I performed at. I sat in on a few gigs. Well,
Okay.
2 at Nolans, at Harlem Underground.
Nice.
When I was here last, I played at the Jazz Bistro.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as well as the Beaches Jazz Festival.
Oh, yeah, that's
So-
nice. That's nice.
I'm looking forward to doing more of those, hopefully next year.
Nice.
But as for right now, I'm heading back on Monday.
You're heading back on Monday. So what's the name of your CD?
It's called Ascension.
Ascension, eh?
Yeah.
Wow. And you have quite a variation on there, my man.
Yeah, I mean, you could hear a little bit of different influences.
Yes.
It's labeled as smooth jazz, of course, because that's the theme that runs through it.
Yes.
But all of the songs don't necessarily fit into the traditional smooth jazz sound.
Yes.
But that's the theme that runs through the album.
That's the industry
Yeah.
driven
Yeah.
business. And this is unbelievable. So you play piano.
I wouldn't
Stop.
call myself a piano player.
But you can play, right?
A little bit. I
Yeah.
haven't played in over 10 years, really. So,
All right, but
yeah.
you can play, and that's what
Yeah,
you started
that's
on.
where I started, yeah.
But the guitar is your thing.
Yes.
And you're doing some writing,
Yeah.
producing, and all that kind of business there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to come full circle with this music business to really go forward.
Yes.
Because
yes.
gone were the days you have everything sectioned off. This guy did this for you. and-
Yeah. Everyone has their own.
Mm.
Because I had to record demos to send to the studio.
Right,
So of course I have to know how to
right.
do a bit of production, and
Mhm.
people would send you tracks to put guitar on it, and you have to
Yeah.
be able to record yourself at home, and
All right. Now, let me ask you now. Did you get some kind of or felt some kind of intimidation when you're working with these music heavyweights?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's a very humbling experience.
Nice.
Because it shows you what you don't know, but it also shows you what you do know.
Right.
Because it tests your limits. So I would walk into a venue, and Eddie has this thing he does where everywhere we go, he would carry my guitar in the car, even if I don't feel like.
Wow, that is great. I like that.
So we got like one of those nights we got to Harlem Underground, and I was feeling cold, and I didn't want to play, and the sax player who was there, he recognized me from my last trip, and he was like, come play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was listening to them before, and unfamiliar territory. You tell yourself, maybe I can't. And
it offers a part of protection,
a
shield,
and so
open up your confidence.
And going into it, once I start playing, it's like it really shows me what I can do.
Right.
It shows me where I am, and it's a non-judgmental environment where guys, no one is trying to outdo the other. It's just say what you have to on the instrument, and they embrace it, and it's amazing to me to be in that type of space.
Yes. That is great. That is well said, man. Wow. So you do a lot of. Have you ever played in the Grenada Smooth Jazz Festival?
We do. Well, we have one event that happens annually called Rhythms of Spice.
Okay.
And I played in it several times. And at the when was it? It was earlier this year.
Right.
We had an event called Grenada Music Festival.
Okay.
And they have a jazz and soul night. It was the first year it happened, and I played there. So hopefully it happens next year again.
Tell us about that experience.
Well, it was great because it was the first time I performed my music in Grenada live with a band. So for me, it was like, even though the album was out for a few months, it was the first time I got to perform live with a band. Right. Eddie came down with some musicians from Toronto, and we had a good time. The music was well received.
Nice.
And it just felt great to be able to finally hear what it sounds like live.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So when you were alone with your instrument, tell us about that intimacy. Well,
part of it stems from the fact that growing up I was very introverted, and I would say I wasn't very socially exposed. Part, I guess, family upbringing. I didn't go out that often. So at points I was just in my room with the guitar, and that's how I really got into it, I would say. Those moments of just exploration, and I would practice until I fell asleep and things like that. So it's almost like when I pick it up and I'm alone, I learn something new about myself. I learn it's a weird experience, but it's something that's very close to me.
Nice.
It's one of my, I guess, biggest forms of self-expression.
All right. Do you see yourself owning a nice studio down in Grenada?
I don't know if I want to settle in Grenada.
Okay.
And it's studio-wise, because of the music I gravitate toward, I wouldn't have many clients, I guess, who would want to have that kind of music produced. So I don't think that's not for now, at least.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your music's been played on Spotify. Where else?
Wow, it's on all digital platforms.
All right.
All streaming, and it's everywhere. It's on Deezer, iTunes, Amazon, Apple Music, everywhere you could think of,
All right.
it's there.
Prior to coming to Radio Regent,
Mm-hmm.
did you know that your music been playing on Radio Regent?
No. No, I did not. Yeah.
Yeah, we're playing your music, buddy.
Man, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. DVD show on Fridays 3 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
The KoolBreeze Experience every Saturday from 11 to 3 p.m. And I'm taking a lot of that independent movement, we call,
Mm-hmm.
to Jackie Vibes Radio. He's in Mississauga.
Mm-hmm.
I sent some of the music to a fella called jazzjuice.net in Britain, Frank Tui,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Melodic in New York, and so on. So
Nice.
we spreading that love because, you know, we're all connected with the Eddie Bullen. He's a great guy. He's the first artist I interviewed when I started my show 3.5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, man, and he's always helped me out. When I call Eddie Bullen, I said, I need an artist. I want to send me a man down. Boom, he's on top of it, man. So we work together like a family
Right.
to build this thing, because when I got into radio, I really wanted to push independent artists into the cosmos,
Mhm.
because I saw what they did with the blues, and I said, I'm not going to let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to put Toronto artists at the forefront, and the Americans saw this, and they want a piece of the action.
Mm-hmm.
And we start to grow globally and bring that love and show the artist, hey, there's a home to come to. We care about you. There's a love. There's unity. You get a soundbite. You play your music. We talk a bit about you. Get an interview. Cover you on the field. How better does it get? Who does that?
Right.
Yeah, you know, big station is for big. The Matrix and all that kind of craziness. So, do the people know you're in Grenada and know that you're in the station today? Yeah.
No, they do not.
All right. Well, they're gonna find out when I start posting the photos and the audio part and the video part.
Yeah.
If they don't know who Jeremy Hector is, well, they gonna find out. But any shout outs to fans, family?
Wow. I'm not sure who's listening.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay, bro. But it's been nice for you taking the time to come down to Radio Regent broadcast facilities on the KoolBreeze Experience. I appreciate your time.
Oh, it's been good.
I
Thanks for
appreciate
having me.
your perspective. It's been wonderful, and you keep up that good music, man. You have, when you cut your next CD, get in touch with me. Get in touch with Eddie. We'll get this thing out there.
Yep.
And we are going to magnify your brilliance. Jeremy Hector, thanks a lot, my brother.
It's
All
good to
right,
be here,
and
man.
safe trip back to
Thank you.
Grenada.
Thank you.
All right.